Japan is the country where many people want to travel or to visit because they have a good view, many beautiful places, convenient for travel, good food, and many goods that for the attractive to the shopping. Safe and Japanese so kind. And Thailand and Vietnam is the same, but in the three countries have the different parts. So in my group want to compare the urbanization issue of the Thailand and the Vietnam and Japan. But Japan is the developed country, but in the Thailand and Vietnam it is still the developing country. Because from the research that show the GDP per capita of the Japan more than Thailand and Vietnam around 10 times. Or the transportation system with the Japan developed more than the Thailand and Vietnam. Make us can't to compare. So we have to give a Japan to be a role model for the Thailand and Vietnam. Then the topic that we want to focus is the transportation of Thailand, Vietnam, and Japan.
So starting from the cultural context of Thailand and the lifestyle of traveling in Thailand, most people prioritize in having cars, and this is due to like the comfort of having it, and it's kind of ingrained in our culture. Almost everyone has a car, and it's the norm. And this is due to the lack of public transport, and a lot of people have to travel long distances, and they don't have the convenience of taking other modes. This is the available public transport system in Thailand, though this doesn't like reach throughout the whole region. So we're going to focus on the development of the BTS as a symbol of Thai people being ready to take public transport. And the expansion of the BTS shows this. And this map shows like the planned expansion of MRT, BTS, and airport link. Though along with this expansion comes more problems, like more people moving into the region of where the stations are located, and this could increase the overcrowding problems of the trains, as the stations are only designed to take a certain amount of train cars and a certain amount of people. So the maximum capacity of the BTS is 50,000 people per direction per hour, and now they're taking 25,000. So if more people move to the area, it could eventually lead to like an overcrowding problem. So this shows the population density of Bangkok, and most people live in the center, as it's the closest, like it's the most convenient area to live in.
Insurance of safety, in Bangkok have a many roads, have a many sidewalk in two sides of roads. This is a sidewalk problem in Thailand. Pedestrian sidewalks, Bangkok sidewalks are not actually to walk on the sidewalk. The sidewalk will almost be unstable and damaged, will pothole and roof tie abounding. While the sidewalk have many obstacles such as road, tree, and motorcycle that are difficult for people who want to walking and the wheelchair user to use sidewalk in Thailand. this is best picture and example for outside hole about two sides of both.
So in Thailand, like as you probably experienced when you walk on the streets, the cars prioritize, and this is kind of discouraging for discourages people to walk around. And for example, zebra crossings don't work, and even like bridges are built to cross the street just to accommodate two cars, so that they can pass by faster without having to stop for people. And this is due to like traffic and people wanting to go as far as they can, as fast as possible, as people in Thailand do spend on an average of 800 hours on the road per year. But statistics shows that Thai people are ready to walk, they just don't have the facilities to accommodate this.
So in Vietnam, when it comes to public transportation, people will think of bus immediately because there are a huge amount of buses in Vietnam. Like in Ho Chi Minh City, there are more than 3,000 buses, and the most bus users are students because it's cheap, like for 3,000 Vietnam dong for students and 7,000 Vietnam dong for the others. And it's convenient as well, especially when it's raining. And one like remarkable development of bus system in Ho Chi Minh City is first inland water navigation bus route, and it's was developed by Ho Chi Minh City's Department of Transport in 2017. And with only 15,000 dong, you can have a ticket, and you can as well they can get like 10 trains with at least the capacity of 66, with the travel distance is 11 kilometers and 30 minutes per visit. And besides that, because of the big size of the bus, so it can maybe it occupy the road, and also it can hardly escape in the rush hour, so that Vietnamese people tend to use motorbike more. And because it's convenient for them, it's faster for them, and Vietnam also known as the country of motorbikes and ranking second in the world after Taiwan, according to a Vietnamese newspaper in 2015. Actually, in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, they attempt to build the sky trains, but they are under construction, not operated already. In general, BTS or MRT is highly recommended, but it causes inaccessibility because it only are operated in big cities, not the rural areas, so not everyone can use it. So Vietnamese people return to use their own private, because the private motorbikes, because it's not really difficult to have one. And in 2018, according to VAMM, there are more than 3 million motorbikes are manufactured per day. So it means that there are about 64 motorbikes are sold per minute. And besides, currently we are now having Vietnamese people use motorbikes through online apps like Grab, GoViet, and Bee. About the pedestrian, they also have their own sidewalks, but the street stores and also the parking place appear, so they are not accepted because they are encroaching the sidewalks for the pedestrian. On the rush hour, motorbikes will run on the sidewalk, and it make the noise pollution, and also the traffic accident occur, and the most serious one is between the containers and the motorbikes. There are some roads that they save the life for the containers and the motorbikes, but there are some roads they're not, so it can be happen the accident as well.
Based on this survey, we think reduction in private cars and motorcycles in central district of city is important. I would like to, and please look at this map. And this shows Japan is a railway society. There are 770 stations and 84 lines only in Tokyo. And even this is crazy. And I'm going to talk about how did Japan become like this. There are two main reasons for the formation of a railway society. The first is railway development was given priority over roads. In other words, there is a history that railways were developed first for political purpose. And the second is the railway complemented the traffic capacity of the road. And after the war, development of the transportation system in Japan was delayed. That's why railways developed to support to road. In this way, Japan's railway society was made. Let's move on to disadvantages of owning a car in Japan. I think the reason why there are not as many cars in Tokyo as in Thailand is because it costs money to own a car. It takes a lot of time and money to get a driving license in Japan. The license costs between about 400,000 yen and 150,000 yen. The maximum duration is 9 months and at least 2 weeks. It is harder to get a driving license in Japan than other countries. Not only about that, it is also cost maintenance fee. As you can see from this chart, these are various expenses such as car inspection fee and optional insurance, as the parking fee, gasoline fee. It costs about 475,000 yen. As a result, owning car in Japan can be valued. Therefore, many people think that it is better to use only trains, not car.
Okay, I will talk about subways and trains in Thai and Vietnam and in Japan. In Thai and Vietnam, there are few lines and there are few cars per train, and there are pedestrian issues, and so the Vietnam and Thai society is prioritized on car. But in Japan, there are 13 lines and 10 cars per train, and there are some underground sidewalks and safe sidewalks. So Japan society has developed public transportation. And so to make Vietnam and Thai should to make subways more convenient and more comfortable. Vietnam and Thai should construct more new lines and make subways longer and construct safe sidewalks and underground sidewalks. This is Tokyo route map in subways. There are so many lines and so many students, so it's very convenient. And this is in Tokyo sidewalks. It's very safe, safer than Thai and Vietnam. And the right one is underground sidewalks in Shinjuku Station. We can anywhere by walking underground sidewalks. So Thai and Vietnam should make society prioritize on pedestrians. However, we need tremendous money to construct subways and trains and so underground sidewalks. But air pollution in Bangkok and traffic accident is very serious. This graph shows the number of traffic accidents in Thailand and in Vietnam and in Japan. Thailand and Vietnam have more traffic accidents than Japan. So Thai and Vietnam should introduce all-driving car and electronic vehicle. Electronic vehicle this is a contribution for air pollution. There are no emission car. And auto-driving car will decrease traffic accident because they are drive automatically.
Right, so for electric cars, it actually supports the next generation infrastructures. You can basically charge your cars and then you can get the energy back to the EV cars to the home as well. So if there's like an earthquake or like any like natural disasters, you can actually implement and actually solve the issues by getting energy by EV cars. So that's more convenient. We actually we were gonna play the video, but seems like we don't have that much time, so we'll skip to that one then. I was like gonna shortly explain what's Easy Rider is. So Nissan is actually doing this all-driving taxi, which doesn't even have driver to drive. So basically, even foreigners can come, or like even children can just like automatically make payment by on apps. And it's safer, more convenient, cheaper, and user-friendly. So it's what we can do for Japan and Tokyo to be developed in the near future. And also, it reduces the traffic congestion, and because it's all driving, so as long as computer doesn't really mess up, they can actually drive safely because it's not like man-made.
So our conclusion is we should develop public transportation systems by learning from those of Japan and using new technologies such as electronic vehicle and automatic car. It improves our standard of living for new urban planning. And this is a new urban agenda we will. And anyway, 114A and 114B. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any comments, feedback?
Thank you for your presentation. I have several questions, but first of all, you say your definition of public transportation has a different mode, like a real train, LRT or BRT, or so, and the cost is different, right? So it's easy to just improve the transportation, but in rather not rich countries, it's hard to afford to make it. So how do you think about this? What is the more affordable for developing countries? Just suddenly train like Japan is too much high. And also Japan now shrinking, so maintain the railway network is a bit costly for us even. How do you think?
I think so, but the cost is, to construct subway is the cost is too much for a developing country. So I think and developing countries should introduce some new technologies, like, so I think so. So should introduce automatic driving car and electronic car. I think the cost of this is very lower. So.
For you. For you, it's low.
Too much jumps. No, there are several BRT or LRT in the middle.
Of course, and it will cost a lot, and also constructing BTS or MRT will like take a lot of time as well. It's not within a year like you can make it. It's not like iPhones or whatever. So like what we saw is that we in Bangkok, for example, we already have BTS, and they're actually trying to extend the length. But the problem is that they made the platform too short, too small, so they can really fit the people much. So introducing slightly like EV instead of like normal old cars, that would actually help them out as well. And of course, we can't just like next year we're gonna use all driving cars. We're not gonna use like gasoline cars or like handmade cars. Still like we definitely need step by step though.
So thank you for your presentation. I really like the comparison between countries. But I have a question. So the amount of increasing the amount of cars, the transportation, the vehicles increasing because of the population increase. So just focus on vehicles, transportation, is that enough? Or you can think about the other model cities. We can share, like we have satellite city, we have small city around the model cities, and we can share the things related to population increase. So I don't know that you guys understand my questions. Do you think that there is another solutions for transportation, for population in city? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. If I understand your question correctly, I also think that we can separate the city center by areas. We can just like divide the city centers, and like if you're going to like city center and you have to pay extra money, and you just like impose the more tax on it, and like just by area, it's just like a Singapore, for example, like they do that, right? So they just go to the gate, and then you have to pay extra money to move to the area. So if we have that system, then like not many people wouldn't like want to drive around a bit, and they will use public transportation since it's not that costly. So I'll just say, well, it just came up on mine. So it was in our discussion as well, but I think it answers your question hopefully. Does it? Okay, cool, thanks.
Okay, I have another question. You're proposing to say improve the space for pedestrians as a part of your presentation, and showing like a underground path in from Tokyo Station. And my question is, if you were to build or develop the central part of those cities, and say maybe building a skyscraper there. So when you were to prepare the underground space, connecting to those public transportation you proposing, who should pay for those underground space, pedestrian space? How those pedestrian space for pedestrians will be prepared? government is the one to pay for it, or the users, or developers? How are you going to do it? I know it's nice to prepare those space for pedestrians, but how are you going to make it realized? Okay.
Okay, so I'll answer the question again. Well, to me, I guess like private sector have to work a lot into that, because not only the government or like citizens just pay tax and government pays for it and make for it. It's not really the case. If we see Japan like, in Tokyo, like Tokyo's area of Marunouchi was built up by Mitsubishi Jisho, for example, or like other places are by Mitsui Bussan. So like always a private sector plays a good role, and they have money, and they basically build up on like some skyscraper, for example, and build up the stations, and they have community and blah blah blah. So I guess private sector should be paying for that, not the pedestrians itself. Just by walking, they have to pay money. That's silly. So.
Yeah, in that sense, maybe the Meiji students should look into examples, what's happening in the central part of Japan. For example, those redevelopments in Marunouchi or Daimaru area, I mean, there's a system in which, typically when the developer is utilizing so-called urban regeneration special district, you need to prepare kind of contribution items to get the FAR bonus, to have more space, more floors. And then one of the contribution items you can earn high points is underground connection between your development and the station. So the developers are willing to prepare those space, or maybe the green space, or attracting people. Preparing international facilities and conventions and so on. Those are you can earn the FAR based upon the contribution points. So that's a kind of system in which those private sector, the developer, are willing to contribute something good for public. I know its situation is different from the countries, but instead of just seeking the ideal situation, it's also important to find certain system to encourage the stakeholder to contribute something good. Thank you.
Any questions? Maybe we got two, so quickly.
Okay, good morning. I'm Sohee Kim. I'm working as assistant professor at AIT, Asian Institute of Technology, based in Bangkok. Originally from Korea, and so I did study work in Japan for more than 10 years. Now I've been living in Bangkok for the last 5 years. Thank you for the great presentation. It's very, very interesting, and especially for the Japanese students, I think during your short stay in Bangkok, you really captured the really big problems about public transportation and then the walkability of the street in the city. I've been working on urban planning, so maybe I can contribute a little bit on that, urban planning and then public transportation relation perspectives. I've been to Vietnam as well, and Ho Chi Minh City especially, I really like the city. You have great bus network there. Buses are very much modern, updated, and it's not very, like highly emitting. It's probably like natural gas, I think. So I try to bring these lessons from the two countries, Vietnam and Japan, into Thailand. And what I can say is, I think public transportation in Thailand is not too bad. We can at least go to one node to another node easily by BTS, MRT, and there's also BRT system as well. The problem here is it's just connecting really the major destinations, very much prime lands, touristic spots. But if you want to go further from this major route, we call it feeder system, then there's basically zero transportation mode that bring you to one BTS station to the narrower alleys, or they call it Soi here. So I think the necessity here is to develop the bus system better, so that the buses go to the shorter distance and then the narrower network. Then following this the major route, same network as BTS and then the MRTs. Of course, bus itself should be modernized because it's very much outdated vehicle at the moment. From Japan's perspective, I think you can say here the problem in Thailand in general is urban planning and public transportation planning is not synchronized at all. So you showed this a new the transportation network that is going to happen for the next 5-10 years in Bangkok metropolitan region. There's zero urban planning for those new coming 300 something stations in the suburbs. So basically people are not really living along these transportation networks. So they have to basically drive from their home to reach to these train stations and then probably change transit into the public transportation. So that could be a good lesson I think you can provide from Japan's point of view, developers, urban planners, real estate, transportation companies should come together and then develop the plans for the development, urban development together. So yeah.
Okay, to be quick, I think that you have been better, even you've been done so well, but you've been better if you could focus some problems. You said, you start saying that public transportation system, but what was the problem? The congestion, or road safety, or pollution? Your final conclusion just focus on road safety and pollution problem. For example, EV, those technologies cannot solve the problem of congestion, right? So what was the problem you wanted to look at under the wide theme of public transportation, by which you could have been a bit more clear so that the audience could have been persuaded that the work, right? So you started from broad problem road presentation, and without going into a bit more precise problem analysis. Problem. What is the problem? And then what is the problem and what was the background or the reason for the problem, so that those can be the solution. The problem and solution is doesn't match so well, so that probably some of the audience could have felt that we are not so much persuaded.
Thank you. So thank you so much, Group C.